Welcome to Ending the Stupid Gender War. This show is only for intelligent, mature, non-doom scrolling people only. Subscribe and share this video with everyone you know, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? We got a very serious topic here. Now, it's been a long time coming, since around 2017 in South Korea to 2019, where the 4B movement began. For those of you who don't know, it's a feminist extremist movement that unfortunately is starting to take hold in the US. It's complete BS is what I think about it. I mean, look at what they're chanting here. No marriage. Well, that's what losers would say. No childbirth. Well, there goes humanity. We're pretty much going to end up extinct with that type of garbage attitude. No dating. Well, I agree, no dating, but how about friendship? And then that way you don't have to play the dating game. So friendship leads into maybe something else, more intimate, and then you guys can think about becoming partners. I mean, what's wrong with that? But you know what they mean. No dating just means let's just kill all of humanity, right? I think that's what it pretty much means. I mean, look at this. No sex with men. Do you know how babies are born? Or are you just complete retards? So anybody supporting this movement, I don't even call it a movement. I call it pretty much exposing the most retarded people of this world. How about that? It's not a movement. I mean, for me, it's just like dead in its tracks. But let's go ahead and proceed, shall we? Because we're going to be looking at men and women for and against this supposed movement. Wow, what a nightmare. I mean, this is what our world has come to, right? Like, just a bunch of dumbasses running rampant, across the entire world in all different languages at this point. Not everybody, but especially in the US, lots of idiots, lots of them, just infested. It's a zombie apocalypse of retards, what can I say? So, let's go ahead and see what the women have to say for the 4B movement. Now, the B is because in Korean, that's the way they pronounce it, but in the US it's no, so the N, it would be like 4N movement. No this, no that, whatever, who cares, it's semantics. Men have to understand what drove us here. No, we don't have to understand anything, okay, sister? You guys are just bitching and whining about being losers. That's what this is. What do you mean? What do we have to understand? That you're just fighting fire with fire because the toxic masculinity, you created feminism as a response to it, and many say they have conspiracy theories as to what feminism. It doesn't matter. You have equal rights, and that's all that matters. Hell, we even have men's rights activists. So the men have equal rights, the women have equal rights through feminism. Now, when you go to this feminist extremist garbage, what exactly do you want us to understand about that? How you're just pretty much tearing down everything that you fought for? Because that's what you're essentially doing. You're trying to ruin the peaceful, loving relationships that men and women naturally have in this world. You're trying to discourage everybody from love. You're trying to tear down everybody down like crabs in a bucket. That's what this garbage is. Let's go ahead and continue. Women have to watch their rights stripped away by male judges. Who's stripping your rights? I mean, if you don't like it, then move to another state, move to another country, move to another continent. You have options. You can't control the law. So there's voting, people into power. Then there's voting for laws to be passed. That's just what happens, okay? You can't change that. It's out of our hands. It's not about women. It's about men too. Men and women both lose certain rights if that happens. Like, get over it. Grow up. Get a clue. Women have to carry the mental load of every relationship. No, you don't. Like, just... Wow, I have to have an enormous amount of patience to read this garbage. I really do. Look at what they're saying here. This is what a feminist extremist retard sounds like. Carry the mental load of every relationship. What kind of relationships are you talking about? Because in a real, mature, wise relationship, intelligent relationship, it's 50-50. It's both. You guys work as a team. What kind of a mental load are you talking about? Every household, every child. No, you don't. So what happens to fathers? They don't do anything for the household? They don't care for their own children and help you raise a healthy child, a mature child? Women have to risk their lives just to date. What the hell are you talking about? Risk their lives. 1 in 4 of us will experience severe violence from a partner. That's your fault. Not entirely, but mostly. Because if you're stupid and you choose the wrong guy who's going to be a complete psycho because you couldn't identify the red flags, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? So anything that bad that happens to you from a partner, because there's guys out there getting stabbed by psychotic women, slapped in the face pretty much daily, being abused verbally and physically. And a lot of guys, yes, they do lose their lives by female to male violence. What about them? Oh no, it just happens to women. I really don't care. Because crime is crime. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what gender you are, what sex you are, for all of you picky bastards out there. It doesn't matter. Crime is crime. So when you start trying to compete in this like completely immature fashion, well, women suffer more than men and men suffer more than women, and I just don't care. I don't care. I lay the hammer on both of your asses. You all are immature idiots trying to compete with statistics. How much of a lowlife do you have to be to compete with statistics? Does it actually matter? No, it doesn't. Make better choices on potential candidates to be in a relationship with, especially a serious relationship. Stop messing around, stop being a dumbass, and actually learn how love works and what love really is. And maybe, just maybe, we can start to lower those statistics. Because in the end, it's all about lack of education in the household and in schools. So the education system is failing, the parents at home are failing their kids, and then you toss in substance abuse and a lot of dumbassery advice from other dumbasses out there. What do we have? A bunch of dumbasses complaining about the dumbass world that you live in. What did you think was going to happen? Take responsibility for yourself and try to help others. Be part of the solution, not the problem, by bitching and moaning over statistics. It doesn't matter. Newsflash. Nobody cares. 1 in 4 of us will experience severe violence from a partner. So then protect yourself. Why don't you worry about yourself and your loved ones and your friends? Why don't you work on preventing such violence? And then men have the audacity to ask why we're opting out. Opting out of what exactly? From dating? Well, because you're rushing. And the men who are rushing into dating are doing the same damn thing. It's both of your faults. Yeah, but I'm the victim and he's the... It doesn't matter. You have to know who you're getting involved with. You don't like to hear that, do you? Women out there. You really don't like to hear that. That you literally have to be very careful with who you're going to befriend for, people of the opposite sex and who you plan to get into a relationship with. If you don't, you have to accept responsibility for your own decisions in this life. If you're going to blame all men for this, that just means that you have no idea what you're doing in life. Because all you know how to do is just point the damn finger. I'm just going to leave it at that and continue because there's so much I can say to chew this person out. The 4B movement isn't about hating men. It is. It's about more than hating men. It's about hating life in general. Let's have no more babies. Let's have no more marriage. Let's just all end ourselves because you're just ending humanity with... Look at what you're saying, you idiots. No dating, no sex, no marriage. How are babies born then? You want robots to have them for you? It's so much cowardice and absurdity and immaturity. It's unbelievable that we've come to this point of dumbassery in this world. And imagine that. This is from across the world and now just seeping its dirty little witch fingers into the US. Feminist extremists and males who fall for the propaganda, by the way, because then they come in and say, well, I hate all women. Wow, is that really a wise response, guys? Are you that stupid? Now you're just as stupid as a feminist extremist. Because they got you. They got you by the balls. They made you do exactly what they wanted, to gaslight you, to trigger you. And now you become the very thing that you've always hated by saying, well, I hate all women and all women are stupid. No, you're just as stupid as the stupid women. That's how that shit works. I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. There's so many idiot guys out there, just as much as the idiot women who promote this garbage. You guys are the same garbage. You all are just in a landfill. It's such a shitty situation. I swear. Okay, so childbirth with men. Who else are you supposed to have childbirth with? A woman? I mean, did you go to sex education? How are mommy, where do babies come from? How are babies born? Did you fail that class? What are you talking about? It's the only leverage we have. That's sad. That's really sad. It's all conflict with you feminist extremists. It's nothing but rage and violence and immaturity and just pure evil. Just complete retards. That's all it is. Like you girls have no brains. You really don't. You're just full of hate. And you do hate men. You hate all men. And I wonder why. Because it's not the men that you hate. It's you hate the idea that you're just a complete failure when it comes to the department of love in your life. Your love department is a complete failure. That's why you escape the escapist attitude, like cowardice, by saying, I hate men. And then the men do the same crap because then they'll say, because they failed in the love department, they'll say, I hate all women. That's how that shit works. All right, so the leverage. Wow, that's so stupid. When the system is rigged against us, the system is not rigged against you. Just, wow, you got to shut this mouth of yours. Men have to live with the consequences of their behavior finally catching up. What behavior exactly? You're saying all men are bad. That says everything immature about your behavior. Women have to live with the peace we found on the other side. That's not peace. That's cowardice. You're running away from trying to grow yourself by finding the right partner for you. There's a lot of beautiful men out there and beautiful women, inside and out. They want to make love work. They're not like what you're describing. So shut the hell up or remain a loser forever by not trying to find the right one for you. Because look at yourself right now. In that mental and emotional state, I don't recommend you for any really great guy out there. No great guy. No, you're going to be a headache. You should just live alone with your cat and your vibrator and call it a miserable life and pretend to be happy when you know you're not. Because I'm not going to recommend you to a good guy out there. He doesn't deserve this crap. No, and he's going to always be edgy on his seat like, oh my goodness, did I offend her? Because you have such soft skin and you're going to bitch and complain and say, statistics and men this. You think a real good guy wants to hear that 24/7? No. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Women against the 4B movement. Thank goodness there's some hope. Women have to stop pretending this is activism and admit it's surrender. Yeah, cowardice. You're not fighting the system. You're leaving it. Exactly, cowardice. A bunch of retarded cowards, I swear. You're not changing men. You're avoiding them. Exactly. The 4B movement feels powerful on TikTok, but in real life it's just loneliness with the political label. Exactly. Losers are all lonely and all they do is bitch about all men, all women. That's all they do. Because they're losers. That's what losers do. Women have to ask themselves, does withdrawing change anything? Does refusing to date stop the Supreme Court? No, it doesn't. Does not having kids make the next generation any safer? No, because you're literally killing the next generation. There won't be a next generation if there's no babies, right? No children, no future. My goodness, I mean, how retarded can they be? It doesn't. It just leaves the battlefield to the women who stay and fight. Exactly. The real women of this world have to fight in your place because you're a coward running away saying, oh, I'm just going to, make a bad situation worse. Meanwhile, the real women are speaking up, trying to fix the situation amicably and legally. So you're not helping out. The loudest ones from your guys' group of feminist extremists, you're just a clown. You're just a bunch of clowns in a circus. The real women are trying their best to solve this crap. Women have to be honest about whether this is resistance or just exhaustion dressed up as revolution. Exactly. These feminist extremists are too weak. They're mentally and emotionally weak. They're immature. They're losers. Let's move on to the men. What do they have to say against the 4B movement? I like how we begin against. Men have to watch women declare us obsolete and wonder when we became the enemy. Yeah, men are not the enemy. Bad men are the enemy. Bad women are the enemy. But actually, bad education at home with bad parenting is the ultimate enemy if you really look at it. I mean, where does the chain of effects start? It's the chain effect, right? So where did it start? With the bad parenting or lack thereof? A lot of neglect. You let friends raise your kids. Bad influence, peer-to-peer influence. That's where that crap begins. It goes way beyond just one sex. It really does. Men have to work, provide, show up, and still be told we're the problem. Exactly. Like, what problem are we, precisely identifying here? Now women are saying no dating, no sex, no marriage, no kids. Fine. Men have to accept that. No, we don't. Why do we have to accept that? But don't act surprised when men stop trying altogether. No, because that's now you're being just as cowardly as the cowards promoting this crap. I disagree with these 2 points here. What do you mean fine, men have to accept that? We don't have to accept this garbage. You shouldn't. As a real man, you stand your freaking ground. And what do you mean men stop trying altogether? Just like the women said down there against the 4B movement, no, you stand against this crap. Real men and women standing up against the losers trying to make a worse world than what we already have. I mean, my goodness, people. I mean, we have a world of quitters, a world of complainers. It's easy to whine and to just make a bad situation worse. It's easy. Anybody can do that. But the real men and women can't do that because it's not in their blood. They're actually using their brains and their hearts to make a bad situation better and hopefully eliminate all these problems, like realistically speaking. And if it requires 1 or 2 generations to finally overcome these problems, then so be it. You're in for the long haul. That's what real men and women do. We fight together as one. So this nonsense is really retarded and ridiculous. It really is. So he goes on to say, don't act shocked when the birth rate crashes and society starts crumbling. It already is. Multiple countries across the world. People aren't having enough kids. Go ahead and look it up. Don't take my word for it. Women made a choice. Men have to live with it. No, stop saying that, you retard. I can't believe the guys get it wrong in this paragraph here. What do you mean you're against the 4B movement? You're supporting it by saying garbage crap like that. But so will they. You can't opt out of a society and then complain when it doesn't work for you anymore. Men have to move on and we will. No. What are you talking about? Move on to what? If they get their way, hello, there's no more world. There's no tomorrow. Understand? I mean, how stupid can you be? Yeah, really disappointed for the supposed men against the 4B movement comment here. It's just more cowardice. What a bunch of losers, I swear. All right, so for the 4B movement, let's go ahead and look at how much garbage, how much garbage can we take right now? Men have to look at why this movement exists in the first place. Women don't wake up one day and decide to reject half the population for fun. No, because they're retards. How about that? They're not real women. Something pushed them here. Okay, yeah, immaturity and being losers. Men have to ask hard questions about how we've shown up, the violence, No, I'm not part of the violence and the entitlement, emotional absence. It's to each their own if the shoe fits. It doesn't apply to all men. So why are you going to blanket statement all men like that? Oh, it's men's fault. No, it's not. It's the bad men's fault and the bad women's fault. A lot of times it's equal. How about that? How about we actually identify what reality really is? The emotional absence, the way we treat women like utilities instead of people. Excuse me? Real men treat real women and women in general like real people. Even if they disrespect us, we still treat them with respect unless they cross lines like slap us in public or say disgusting things. Well, we can choose to have an argument as a retaliation, or to act according to self-defense. That's legal, by the way, because you're not gonna let some psycho stab you and take your life in public, right? Or in some dark alley. Oh, because she's a woman, I can't do anything in self-defense. That's the wrong answer. I really hope you reconsider. I mean, what exactly is a good guy? Not fending for yourself? So as long as you're not the one causing problems, you have the green light to do whatever you need to do. But we're not the ones instigating. We're not causing these problems. So shut up. Right? I mean, seriously, this guy is just another retard here. So men have to stop getting defensive and start getting honest. About what exactly? And, you know, good men will never treat a woman like a utility. And there's a lot of bad women who treat men like a utility. And there's bad men who treat women like a utility. That's what bad men and women do. You idiot. That's what they do. That's why they're called bad men and women. I mean, this is just like preschool. It's not even elementary. The 4B movement is a mirror. If you don't like what you see, change what you're doing. Says who? The bad men? You think they're going to listen to you? Do you think they're going to change their ways? No, they're not. Newsflash. Women didn't create this in a vacuum. They are creating it in a vacuum by making a bad situation worse. Men have to own the role we played in building a world where opting out feels like the only sane choice. There is no opting out. Okay? There's a solution, which is working together to solve these problems. And then there's making a bad situation worse by saying, well, yeah, you're right. We're just a bunch of abusive losers. Men have to just accept that and run away. Men going their own way like a bunch of retards. Yeah, right in, headfirst into a titanium wall. That's the way you're going. You're gonna crawl into your little caves and just, pretty much self-pleasure yourself till kingdom come. Literally. That's all pun intended, by the way. Till kingdom come, right? And then you're going to say, oh, I'm so happy. No, you're not. You're a loser in your man cave, saying that you went your own way. And even if you make a lot of money in this life, wow, so money replaces love? Oh, yeah, damn straight. You're a loser. You're a complete loser because you failed in the department of love. Nobody can respect a good guy who has just turned to the bad side, the dark side, and said, you know what, I don't deserve the most beautiful thing in this world, which is the most passionate feeling of true love that fulfills anyone in this world. If you deny that, you're worth nothing. You're just like beyond, lower than a loser, actually. And then the women out there, they're going to do the same damn thing with their vibrators and cats and say, I don't need a man to be happy. Those are the worst losers you can possibly encounter in this world because they're failures. Just like the guys crawling into their man cave saying, I don't need a woman to be happy. Failures. And they're going to try to kick and scream and fight about it saying, no, I'm not a failure. I'm happy. All right, keep crying because that's all I hear is crying and whining. I mean, who are you trying to convince? I know you're a loser. Because you're choosing to be a loser. That's your problem, not mine. It is what it is. If you give up in the realm of love, you're a loser. It's that simple, people. It doesn't get any more simple than that. So this whole 4B movement is an absolute joke. Look at what they're saying. No marriage, no children, no dating, no sex with men. What exactly are you promoting that's productive about any of that? How about you just say no life? That's what's missing in this equation, right? I mean, because life's not worth living if you don't have love in your life. Like, I'm not saying like to end one's life. I'm saying that it's really not worth living if you really think about it. You can travel the world. You can spend your money on a lot of things. It's not going to fill in that empty spot in your heart. It's not. So I don't know what you guys, you fools out there who think otherwise. You're just living in perpetual misery. And you're never going to get better. Sad to say. I can't believe that this crap is actually a thing these days. The 4B movement. It's not a movement. It's an insult to all of humans. To all of humanity. Every single human out there. It's a complete insult. It's not a slap in the face because it's that retarded. It's not that strong enough. Now, feminist extremists, that kind of is a slap in the face because there's a lot of guys out there suffering from that quote unquote movement. You know, feminism was okay. Men's rights are okay. But men going their own way and then, feminist extremists, no. Now you're dealing with the retard losers who are, just, they're out there to produce chaos because they're unhappy. That's what miserable losers do. They kick and scream and they promote their BS. Live alone. Don't believe that love exists. That's what losers do. Failures in this life. So with that said, that's all for now for today's show. Get access to my free 1-hour movie by becoming a free member on my website listed here, where you can also possibly become a guest speaker on my new show, Let's Talk About Love. Much love, everybody.